You have the most powerful tool in your business to improve customer retention and build sales. Want to know what it is? You're listening to the next episode of the Main Street Success Stories podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Koch, a 25-year entrepreneur, and I created Main Street Success Stories to share others' journeys to help you learn, grow, stay motivated, and know that you are not alone in this game called entrepreneurship. Today's guest, Samantha Irwin with Kaizen Consulting, is the creator of the Power of People Academy and Creating a Culture Deck. She equips businesses to provide consistently exceptional customer experiences, fostering thriving enterprises and fulfilling staff. Samantha's commitment extends to teaching business owners how to make their establishments preferred workplaces and favored customer destinations. Your business cannot afford to ignore the profound wisdom Samantha shares today. She is going to teach you how to empower your staff to make your customers feel seen, heard, and have such an amazing experience that they're going to go on and tell others. I invite you to join us in this important conversation. Samantha, welcome to Main Street Success Stories. I am excited to talk with you today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love every time I get to talk to you. It makes my day. You're so smart and amazing and kind and brilliant. And yeah, so thank you for having me.
Well, wow. We're just going to end the podcast episode right now with that.
We're done.
Thank you. Yeah, we're done. Thank you for filling my bucket today. So you are the founder of Kaizen Consulting. First of all, really clever name. Where did that name come from?
Oh, thank you. Long time ago, I decided when I was a teen that each decade I would get my goal was to get better or improve or in some way, those cards where they say life is over at 40. I thought that's stupid. You have so much time left. So I made the decision a long time ago just to continue to improve and grow and learn and yada, yada. So that is my life philosophy. It's also my business philosophy. Just take the next step. We don't have to jump into the, deep end and do all the things, which honestly is my personality. So I'm kind of speaking to myself here. And so when I found a word that actually meant that, I got so excited and named my business that. Kaizen is a Japanese word meaning continual improvement. So there you go.
Oh, brilliant. I love it. Not only is it very cool, it's spelled Kaizen, but I just love the meaning. It's very profound for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I love it as well. Thank you.
So today I'm really so excited to talk about this topic of customer experience, customer journey. I feel like in the last few years, this topic is so prevalent and one that we really just don't understand. As a business owner, whether you are a brick and mortar or online business or service-based, what does it really mean? And so you are a customer experience guru. How did you come to be a guru?
A guru. I love it. Thank you. I don't see myself as a guru, but I'm taking it. I want to take that.
You're taking it.
I'm taking it. So when I'm conducting workshops and whatnot, oftentimes the people will recognize things they do in the customer journey. The customer journey is a framework that it allows us to make those continual improvements. So my journey, do you want me to talk about the hotel just a bit?
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your entrepreneur journey and how you got into consulting.
Sure. So I taught middle school for 13 years and loved it. That's where I really learned how to motivate, challenge, inspire, see the gifts in their kids, right? And pull them out. And, about learning styles, all of the things, which was so much fun. I loved teaching middle school. Yes, I said love in middle school in the same sentence.
I'm in awe of you right there because I am a mom of 3 older kids. So we weathered those middle school years and most people don't say they loved those years.
They're so weird. I love them. Just hover, don't smother, hover, don't smother. Yeah, there's so much in that. So, but I was frustrated with the system and I always had this entrepreneurial bent. I've always been interested in business and in doing some part-time while I was teaching. So after 13 years of teaching, I decided to jump full-time. I was praying for a couple of years, figuring out what is my next thing, where are my gifts, what do I do? So long story short, ended up resigning from teaching, bought a boutique hotel. It's There's three. It's beautiful. For the West Coast, it's old, right? 1907 is when it was built. 3-story brick hotel, 21 rooms. The owners had auctioned off all of the furniture. So there was nothing in there except some Gone with the Wind-ish drapes and the acre of grounds that needed some landscaping. And it was located in a town, population 600. Okay, so people think there's a crazy theme. People think, oh, you love middle school. That's a little nuts. So the theme continues. So located in a town of 600, 2 hours away from our IC or our ideal client for guests or weddings. So 2 hours away. And this was in 2006. It hadn't been opened consistently as a hotel since the 1940s. So the Greens, who had it before us, just had this love affair for historic buildings and had it opened on here and there for different things during different periods of time. So yeah, that was my start. I remember the date we moved in. So we rented our home and moved into a trailer for the second time in our marriage with the animals into a parking lot the second weekend of August. And started in on a lot of stripping woodwork. They had started part of it. The Greens had started part of it, but hadn't finished. And I went from teaching to stripping woodwork.
Okay, this is just an amazing story. First of all, like, where in the world were you a DIY person? Did you even know how to become a stripper?
Yeah. Well, I did. I am a DIY person. Grew up. My dad was born in 1919. Definitely that generation where you got in and did stuff. So
yes, hardworking generation.
Yep, you figure it out. So I love physical labor. I love it, and I figured, I knew how to strip woodwork. I found a fantastic man to help me. Taught me how to restore plaster. So I can't do any beautiful, like orange peel, perfect texture, but plaster repair, I'm your girl, or your woman. And reglazing windows, we just learned how to do it. So yeah, that was just jump in, get her done.
So it was probably this time for you where that jumping in, getting it done, that physical labor probably felt really good in a way because you could see every day your progress. How long did it take you to where 21 rooms were available for rent?
It's like you are reading my mind and the timeline, asking the perfect question. So it was the middle of August and I thought, oh, you know what? I'll be open by Thanksgiving. Yeah, right. No.
I said that once and had a baby the same week I opened. So yeah, I get it. I get that mindset.
Yeah. And then the thing was moved to Christmas and then New Year's and then Valentine's Day. And my wise aunt said to me, just book an event and you'll be done then. And so we did. Soft opening June 15th and then for some guests. And then our wedding was June 24th. And I tell you, by the lights of the pickup truck the night before at 10 o'clock, we were pulling things from the landscaping, like finishing up for the wedding the next day. So yes, I love a deadline.
Well, that's interesting. That's another topic for entrepreneurship, but I think we're all motivated by that.
Yes.
And sometimes a challenge with owning your own business is you get to choose your own deadlines. So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, I'm impressed you were able to turn that thing around in that short amount of time. And you said it was a boutique. It was very unique. And so my guess is you had to really hone in on how to treat a customer, how to make their experience amazing. So they would go tell everybody 2 hours away to come visit you.
That's exactly right. So our marketing budget was basically eaten up in sandpaper. So I had to find another way, right? And what I learned very quickly was, oh, these people are our ideal client and these people are not. So when we honed in on our ideal client, what I found was that when we gave them great service and a customer experience or a guest experience, they came back again and again. And then they brought people that were and recommended us to people who were very similar to them. which that person for us was a pleasure to serve. One of the people, they're friends to ours to this day, and they came back 10 times in 3 years.
Wow.
Right. To a place where it wasn't Niagara Falls as a, there wasn't any other big thing to come and see. It was like Mayberry, right? You're getting away, you're unplugging, and it's great for cycling, and the sunshine is fabulous. But yeah, that's how I kind of stumbled. Hindsight's 2020. I think God has a hand in all of that, but found out that that's key. That key is honing in on who that ideal customer is, and then treating them extremely well. And then they bring people who are similar to them, because it costs on average 6 to 7 times more money to acquire, right? Marketing is expensive and necessary. It costs 6 to 7 times more money to acquire a new person, a customer, than it does to retain them. The money, the magic is in that retention. First, finding the right person, the right client, the right customer, and then serving that person so very well that they become your marketing mouthpiece. So yeah, that's how it happened.
And something you said, they become a pleasure to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Not only, yes, the financial aspect of a reoccurring customer, what that can do for your business and when you can turn them into advocates, but the emotional toll it takes on us as business owners to serve people that we just really aren't maybe meant to serve. And I call that bless and release. Just because you're not meant to serve them doesn't mean somebody else isn't. But
Bingo.
we get so hung up in that, and we get so fearful that if we don't take care of this particular type of client or style of client, that our business isn't going to grow. But just the opposite happens, because if you're enjoying the process with your clients, they're enjoying it. And then look what happens. So let's talk about this idea of a customer journey. So, a customer journey is basically a fancy word for touch points that your customer has along the process. So your typical traditional customer journey is the awareness, where they hear about you. Then there's the consideration phase, where they might be vetting you out on your website, or you've pitched them a proposal. Then they purchase. How do we retain them is the next, and then become the advocate. But you kind of have a different approach to that. Mm-hmm. Take us through what you feel as business owners we should be focusing on for the customer journey.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. Traditional customer journey maps are linear in nature, and they imply, right? Most people know, I have to have a marketing budget. It's common language. Fewer people think, I need a retention budget. What's our retention strategy? So what makes me so annoyed, and why I created my own map, is that the thing that's very annoying is that linear nature implies that we are constantly churning and finding people, and we're not serving. Like the customer, I wish we had a visual here. The customer comes into awareness of our business, they have an experience, and then off they go out into the ether. And that's costly. It's extremely costly to think about the customer journey and the customer experience in that manner. So I loved what you said earlier about, bless and release. My core value, and with our staff and with who I work with, core value is we serve everyone well, period. And if you think about the customer journey map that I created is in a Ferris wheel shape. So if you think about the fair, we just had our county fair here. We're still small enough town where we have the county fairs. And so my husband loves the Ferris wheel. It's not my favorite thing. I like that teacup ride where you're spinning around and around in circles.
Oh, right? Man, no, thank you.
So this is where, when I'm doing a workshop, it's like you typically get a giggle. And we're talking about being on the Ferris wheel and how we retain those people and keep them in our circle. We keep them on the Ferris wheel, and they invite their friends, and around they go, and they're having a great time. But if the customer, say like me, isn't exactly the right fit, and I really love the teacup, we give them a great experience on the Ferris wheel, and then right at the top, we speed it up and we launch them off, and off they go to the teacup, where they're going to be served very well because it's their people. So that's my visual, imaginary illustration of people have a place at different businesses. So it's our job to hone in on who we love, who loves us, serving them very well, and then retaining those people in our Ferris wheel customer journey map.
I love that because you're right. The typical customer journey map is linear and it has a destination, kind of like a roadmap, right?
Yes.
And I love how your Ferris wheel analogy is all about service. And sometimes I think we forget that piece, and it's not intentional that we forget it. We are just bogged down in tasks. We are up to our eyeballs and doing all the things. And you teach a really great course called the People Academy. I'm sorry. Tell me again.
Right.
People
the Power
Academy?
of People Academy.
The power. I was forgetting that keyword. The Power of People Academy. And in there, you mention don't treat your customers like an interruption. And I know I've experienced that, and I've gone into local brick and mortar stores, and I've experienced that where the person doesn't even look up, doesn't even recognize you, even with the doorbell dinging. I've experienced it online where if I've reached out and asked a question, I get an automated bot or I don't get a reply for 48 hours. And so what are your thoughts? Like, take us deeper into that. What can we do today? And some of us listening might not even realize we're doing it. And that's okay. There's no shame here. Right. Our point is, how can we skill up in that area?
Yeah, that's so key. The first impressions, you are correct that the customer is not an interruption to our work. They're the reason for our work. There's in the Power of People Academy, I've talked about tasks and skills. The skills are those people skills that make customers feel welcomed. If we at the hotel, and we just as a claimer, we don't have the hotel anymore. I'm doing consulting and coaching and supporting independent business owners. But when we had the hotel, people can choose any other hotel. They can choose any other coffee shop. What creates that customer loyalty? It's how they feel they're being treated. Yes, we want to make sure we are having our beds, our rooms are clean, the beds are made perfect, the food is delicious. If you have a coffee shop, the coffee's perfect every time. But if I go into like what you're talking about, or you and I go into a coffee shop and I'm wanting to impress you, if I feel like I'm an interruption to the work and I have a great cup of coffee, but I feel like I'm an annoyance, I'm not bringing someone like you I want to impress there. I'm going to go somewhere, even if I have a mediocre mocha, but I feel very valued by the person who's serving me, 100% we're giving them another chance. But if I feel like if the person's a jerk to me and I have the best mocha in the world, I can choose all sorts of things, all sorts of other coffee shops. So that making people feel welcomed is a skill, and it is always, always, always more important than the tasks. Now, no fault of business owners, because they're not, when I'm speaking to people, never have I ever encountered someone who raised their hands when I said, "Did you start your business because you were super excited to train people?" No.
No. In fact, I often hear business owners say, "Wow, I would start 10 businesses if I didn't have to deal with people."
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's okay. They're excited about their thing, the product, the service, or whatever it is that they're really passionate about. And we need staff to scale and grow. They need to have great service. They need to have people skills in order to make customers feel welcomed so that we can give them the product and service and they'll love it. So there are things. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, do you feel like people skills are a little bit of a lost art?
Oh gosh, yes, more so now after the pandemic and with the phone thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's basic to teach people how to make people feel welcome. I teach it. It's called the trifecta. It's eye contact, smile, and a greeting. And you can do that even when you are on the phone or with someone else. You have to look up from the task, even if you're 99% done with this task you've been working on. That person-to-person relationship, eye contact with a smile, plus a greeting, if, you're not on the phone, could be even a head nod. It makes someone feel welcomed. Can you imagine if you came into my house for a dinner party and I was super busy chopping the meat and making the charcuterie board, and you came in and saw the side of my head, I didn't look up, I didn't greet you, you'd be looking around thinking, where do I put my coat? Do I take my shoes off? Can I drink this wine now? What's going on? No. So our businesses are like homes. We need to make our guests, our customers feel welcomed every single time. And it's a muscle to practice what I call the trifecta. It's simple, but it is not easy. Not at all. It takes a lot of work.
It does take a lot of work, and it takes being intentional and thoughtful. And I think a pushback sometimes that I hear from business owners, I don't have the money to hire all these people. I have one gal working the cash register, and she's, organizing inventory, and she's answering emails, and she's packaging things to ship. So of course she's going to feel overwhelmed. She's going to be inundated with tasks. And what's going to happen, like you said, is she's going to perceive the customers coming in as an interruption. And I think we have to almost educate business owners in the power of investing, not only in maybe you do need another body, so that if you treat your customers better, sales can increase, and back to that reoccurring retention. Because like you said, it costs 6 to 7 more times more to attract a new one. And I also love how you share the statistic that 70% of buying experiences are based on how the customer feels they are being treated. That's a pretty big number.
It is a big number. And I'm glad that is my all-time favorite statistic, because it's based on research. And while business owners think, no, it's about the fabulous thing I create, right? It's about, or me, I'll use myself as a hotel. Oh no, it's about the beauty of the historic hotel, and it's about the unplugging and the fine sheets that we have and the beautiful breakfast. And that is part of it. It's an important part of it. However, if my staff are jerks, they can choose another boutique hotel that has beautiful sheets and wonderful food and yada, yada, yada. So it's so important. It's so important. And 70% is based on how they're being treated, which is making someone feel welcomed and valued and important and seen. And yes, it's a skill that not everyone has. But I teach people how to find it. You can actually, if I can digress, a quick win is sometimes business owners ask me, how can I find those people that have the gift of hospitality, right? If they're front-facing customer service people, how do you find them? Well, you can poach them, maybe. So when you go to a coffee shop, whose line do you go to? When you go to the grocery store, whose line do you go to? If you go into you have a family member's home that you always feel welcomed and valued, start to just raise your awareness and your understanding of, oh, what are they doing that draws me to them? And oftentimes it's eye contact and a smile. I mean,
right. The basics.
Sometimes you act it. Sometimes you act it because you don't feel it, but you act it.
Well, and I think what's important here too is a lot of times we're putting the responsibility on the customer versus taking the responsibility as the staff or the owner. And what I mean by that is I've walked into places, especially boutiques, places that are a little bit more unique, and they might only have 1 or 2 staff members. Mm-hmm. And if they don't greet you with eye contact, a smile, some type of greeting, it puts the pressure on me as the customer to have to ask the questions. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I know for a fact I've walked out. I have been in situations where I didn't want to ask the questions because I almost felt maybe embarrassed. Oh, why don't I know this? I should know this. Yeah. So it puts the pressure on the customer, which is what we do, obviously what we don't want. When I owned my brick and mortar bakery, it was a very customer service, customer experience gifting company. Mm-hmm. And we trained our staff to greet customers who walked in and ask them if they had ever been in before. And the reason we did this was then, depending on their answer, we would then share with them, if you hadn't been in before, we would share, something about us. If they had been in before, we would share maybe the new flavor. So take us through some practical tips. If somebody, and I know we're talking, seems like a lot about brick and mortar, but I do believe this also applies to service-based businesses like your, interior designers or contractors, and also even online businesses. What do you recommend? I know we hear a lot about customer experience. That seems to have been a buzzword that came out of COVID.
Oh, yeah. So customer experience back in the 90s, like there was a change in the economy. I'll really condense. This is a workshop that I've done before, where talking about the change in buying habits from valuing things to valuing experiences. And one of the best examples, you just will think, oh yeah, I get it. An experience is Disney, right? They curate the experience and it's very immersive. Now, our brick and mortars don't need to become Disney themed places. However, it's important to think about the customer's journey from tip to tail, like what you were talking about with awareness and consideration. Like basically, if you and I are in a new city, we're checking out the coffee shop. That's the first step in the customer's journey. That's where all your marketing lands. And then they're having an experience. We're having an experience. We'll just use a coffee shop because lots of people go there. So I'm not picking on them.
Yeah, we love them.
We love them.
We love coffee.
We're going to have an experience at every step. So sure, the online, we're having an experience that's helping to drive our decision of which place to choose. In the parking lot, or is it easy to find? How's the signage? That's part of my experience. When I'm walking to the door, is it gross outside, or is it cobwebby or dirty? Do I push? Do I pull? Is it sticky? Right? Those things are influencing me, whether conscious or subconscious, and giving me an impression about the quality of what I'm receiving inside. Now, do customers go into the kitchen and see that it's got a fabulous health rating for the health department? No. That's important to the business. But I, as a customer, I'm not there. I'm feeling the table. Is it sticky? Is it not? I'm having an experience, if I use the restroom, that is communicating something about the quality of what I'm receiving that I'm purchasing. So customers are having an experience. The customer journey map breaks down the steps that a customer makes or takes throughout the entirety of their experience with your business. And the customer journey map, those touch points you talked about earlier, are a way to compartmentalize the journey so that we can curate every single step of the journey, making sure it's what we want them to know, do, and feel. So I got off a little bit on that tangent, but I got very excited about it.
No,
That's kind of how the customer experiences. People they value experiences. They want to feel valued and seen, especially like you talked about with, COVID, and now people are on their phones so much. People are desiring to feel part of something. They need to feel seen. They need to feel valued. Yeah.
I love what you just shared, the detail of it. And what I would encourage every listener to do is to look at their business from a different lens, to look at their business, whether it's online or brick and mortar, and go through all those detailed process, the customer journey that you just outlined, and put it in that lens of how would somebody who is a first-time visitor feel throughout this. What a great, great tip and analogy that you shared. So as we start to think about our businesses, obviously a key piece of this is getting your staff on board. And they're not as invested or don't have as big of piece of the pie as you do. So how do we get them excited and get them invested in our customer experience process, and where they put customers first and lead with service? How do we bring them on board without just telling them and micromanaging the process as the owner?
Yeah, I am so excited that you went there. What I found in my experience, and then also with my clients, is that just as our customers want to be seen and valued and seen and valued, period, so do our employees. So they need to feel seen and valued. One key thing in retention of employees is helping them to understand their power and their influence, and then training and equipping them with the skills to perform. So yes, I'm going to be just looking at my book, looking at my phone, flirting with my coworkers if I don't understand how much of an impact and an influence that I have on two areas. And it's on the financial success or mediocrity or failure of a business and the trajectory of the customer's day. Those two things, the through line is that staff member. When staff stand in their power and they understand, oh my word, I can really move the needle for this business and I have the power to make or break this customer's day. And then we give them some skills like training the trifecta, or, in the last module is called Congratulations, You Screwed Up in the Power of People Academy, teaching you how to fix the mistakes that will be made, not if, but will be made. Then staff retention increases. Staff become more engaged because they understand they're important. Just like our customers want to be seen, our staff need and want to know that they matter and that they make a difference. Training them with the skills that are needed to deliver consistently excellent customer service experiences is empowering to people, whether or not they view that job as a temporary, side hustle to make money during the summer, or it's their dream job. Regardless, those two people have the same influence on the business and on the customer. So there's my soapbox. I'll step back down from that right now. But yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you could have the shiniest website, the prettiest exterior of a business, the best fabric for your couch that you sell. But really, we need to take a hard look at how we're treating our people, onboarding our people, training our people, and how we're treating our customers. Because if we focused on those two areas, I know that business is going to grow. You're going to increase your revenue, but you're also going to increase your profit. Because like you said earlier, we're going to take customers and turn them into super fans. Mm-hmm. And we all know how we love telling a good story and we love telling a success story, but we also, I think the latest statistic is if you have a bad experience, you're going to tell 10 friends. So,
yes. Yeah.
Let's get 10 friends telling really good things about our business.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing these just words of wisdom, just great nuggets that we can take back to our businesses. Tell us about your training programs and what you offer, and who is your ideal client that you can help improve their customer experience.
Okay, now I didn't write down all those questions, so if I miss one, you remind me.
We'll direct them to your website. No worries.
Okay, perfect. I talk a lot about curating the customer's experience, and that does not happen unless we are supporting our staff. So yes, customer experience, it's super important, but that begins with supporting and training staff members. I just had dinner with a fabulous, smart individual, this young woman, and she was telling me about her work experience lately. And this story relates to what you're talking about. She stopped working for a company that it was, they provided a great experience for their members. And it was all high end and it was fabulous. But the way they treated their staff, like they couldn't park in a certain parking lot. They had to come in a certain door. They had to work in this room that was windowless and crappy. And yet the shiny, glossy, whatever for the members was fantastic. Hello, she lasted a year. She's thinking, yeah, this is not okay. That is not what I'm talking about. So we have as leaders to pull out those gifts from our staff. We have to help them understand their power and their influence and train them in order to delight and exceed expectations for our customers. So I do workshops. I speak. I love speaking. It's so much fun. I know that's another crazy thing. People think, oh my God, love doing that. And then some really low hanging, easy fruit to grab. There's two tools. One's called Creating a Culture Deck, which is weekly. I call it drip irrigation for leaders, because it's a weekly focus card with a statistic or a quote on the front, and on the back, because I was a teacher and I want to make it easy, the question for discussion is given to you. So 10 minutes a week raises expectation, professionalism, connection with customers and with staff. That's one easy thing. The other one is a 6-week course called the Power of People Academy. You mentioned that. We call it a hospitality bootcamp. And in 6 weeks, it takes people through from understanding their value, how to create a first impression, a sales versus service. How do you change the mindset around that and increase daily sales, to congratulations, you screwed up. So it's a pretty comprehensive training program that helps business owners to train and equip their people with the skills they need to deliver consistently excellent customer experiences. And I should have taken a deeper breath that was a long sentence, but
that was absolutely awesome. And I'm going to put the links to that in the show notes. And, obviously your experience as a middle school teacher to tackling remodeling a 21-room hotel, boutique hotel, has positioned you for what you are doing. You are a true gift. And we are in a society where, as business owners, we need to take this seriously. Mm-hmm. People aren't transactional anymore. They're not just going to come to our business because we're there. We have to go that extra mile. And that extra mile is, like you said, helping people feel seen, heard. So thank you so much for bringing light to this. I think sometimes as business owners, we have a hard time putting the ROI behind it, but you've got some heavy duty stats that we can share. And, this is an area I'm going to encourage everyone listening to really take a deep, hard look and reach out to Samantha. She can help you take your customers to the next level. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise. This is always a joy to talk with you. And I look forward to future conversations with you.
Oh, I do as well. I think you're phenomenal. And everyone you serve is super lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. Yeah. If I'm being honest, when I look back at my ownership of my bakery, I wonder how many times we unintentionally made a customer feel like an interruption. I know we were busy at times and we were so focused on the task at hand that we forgot our tasks are the customer. If you own a brick and mortar or service-based or even an online business, you can take what you learned today from Samantha and be intentional about focusing on how you are making your customers feel. It can start with as simple as eye contact, smile, and a greeting. I encourage you to follow her links and learn more about the tools she provides. If you are a small business owner and your business is not giving you all that you desire, I invite you to my Fast Track Growth in 90 Days program. This program is designed to help you increase revenue, improve profits, without spending more time and little time on social media. You can find a link to learn more in the show notes. Until next time, thanks for listening, keep building, and remember to support your local businesses. They need you more than ever.